Hello, my friends. Today I thought we would read Beverly Cleary's Dear Mr. Henshaw. It begins, May 12th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, my teacher read your book about the dog to our class. It was funny. We licked it. Your friend, Lee Botts. And in parentheses, he put boy. December 3rd. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I'm the boy who wrote you last year when I was in the second grade. Maybe you didn't get my letter. This year I read the book I wrote to you about called Ways to Amuse a Dog. It is the first thick book with chapters that I've ever read. The boy's father said city dogs were bored, so Joe could not keep the dog unless he could think up 7 ways to amuse it. I have a black dog. His name is Bandit. He is a nice dog. If you answer, I get to put your letter on the bulletin board. My teacher taught me a trick about friend. The I goes before E so that at the end it will spell end. Keep in touch. And he spelt it T-U-T-C-H. Your friend, Lee Botts. Now, if you're reading along, that is not how you spell touch. Just have to make that clear. Okay. November 13th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I am in the 4th grade now. I made a diorama of ways to amuse a dog, the book I wrote to you about 2 times before. Now our teacher is making us write to authors for book week. I got your answer to my letter last year, but it was only printed. Please, would you write to me in your own handwriting? I am a great enjoyer of your books. My favorite character in the book was Joe's dad because he didn't get mad when Joe amused his dog by playing a tape of a lady singing, and his dog sat and howled like she was singing too. Like he was singing too. Bandit does the same thing when he hears singing. Your best reader, Lee Botts. December 2nd. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I got to thinking about ways to amuse a dog. When Joe took his dog to the park and taught him to slide down the slide, wouldn't some grown-ups come along and say he couldn't let his dog use the slide? Around here, grown-ups who are mostly real old with cats get mad if dogs aren't on leashes every minute. I hate living in a mobile home park. I saw your picture on the back of your book. When I grow up, I want to be a famous book writer with a beard like you. I am sending you my picture. It is last year's picture. My hair has grown longer now. With all the millions of kids in the U.S., how would you know who I am if I didn't send you my picture? Your favorite reader, Lee Botts. And he writes, enclosure, picture of me. We are all studying business letters. We are studying business letters. And he put a picture of himself. October 2nd. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I'm in the 5th grade now. You might like to know that I gave a book report on ways to amuse a dog. The class liked it. I got an A-. The minus was because the teacher said I didn't stand on both feet. Sincerely, Lee Botts. That's a silly reason to get that minus. November 7th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I got your letter, and I did what you said. I read a different book by you. I read Moose on Toast. I liked it almost as much as Ways to Amuse a Dog. It was really funny, the way the boy's mother tried to think up ways to cook the moose meat they had in their freezer. 1,000 pounds is a lot of moose. Moose burgers, moose stew, and moose meatloaf don't sound too bad. Maybe moose mincemeat pie would be okay because with all the raisins and junk, you wouldn't know you were eating moose. Cream chipped moose on toast, yuck. I don't think the boy's father should have shot the moose, but I guess there are plenty of moose up there in Alaska, and maybe they needed it for food. If my dad shot a moose, I would feed the tough parts to my dog Bandit. Your number 1 fan, Lee Botts. September 20th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, this year I'm in the 6th grade and in a new school in a different town. Our teacher is making us do author reports to improve our writing skills, so of course I thought of you. Please answer the following questions. Number 1, how many books have you written? Number 2, is Boyd Henshaw your real name or is it fake? Number 3, why do you write books for children? Number 4, where do you get your ideas? Number 5, do you have any kids? Number 6, what is your favorite book that you wrote? Number 7, do you like to write books? Number 8, what is the title of your next book? Number 9, what is your favorite animal? Number 10, please give me some tips on how to write a book. This is important to me. I really want to know so I can get to be a famous author and write books exactly like yours. Please send me a list of books that you wrote, an autographed picture, and a bookmark. It's not asking much. I need your answer by next Friday. This is urgent! Exclamation point. Sincerely, Lee Botts. And then he writes, deliver, D-E, and then liver, D-letter, D sooner, D better, D later, D letter, D matter, I get her. Silliness. November 15th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, at first I was pretty upset when I didn't get an answer to my letter in time for my report, but I worked it out okay. I read what it said about you on the back of Ways to Amuse a Dog and wrote real big on every other line, so I filled up the paper. On the book, it said you lived in Seattle, so I didn't know you had moved to Alaska, although I should have guessed from Moose on Toast. When your letter finally came, I didn't want to read it to the class because I didn't think Miss Martinez would like silly answers, like your real name is Messing A Round, and you don't have kids because you don't raise goats. She said I had to read it. The class laughed and Miss Martinez smiled, but she didn't smile when it came to the part animal about your favorite animal was a purple monster who ate children, who sent authors long lists of questions for reports instead of learning to use the library. Adorable. Your writing tips were okay. I could tell you meant what you said. Don't worry, when I write something, I won't send it to you. I understand how busy you are with your own books. I hid the second page of your letter from Miss Martinez. That list of questions you sent me to answer really made me mad. Nobody else's author put in a list of questions to be answered, and I don't think it's fair to make me do more work when I already wrote a report. Anyway, thank you for answering my questions. Some kids didn't get any answers at all, which made them mad, and one girl almost cried. She was so afraid she would get a bad grade. One boy got a letter from an author who sounded real excited about getting a letter and wrote such a long answer, the boy had to write a long report. He guessed nobody ever wrote to the author before, and he sure wouldn't again. About 10 kids wrote the same author, who wrote one answer to all of them. There was a big argument about who got to keep it unless Miss Martinez took the letter to the office and duplicated it. About those questions you sent me, I'm not going to answer them, and you can't make me. You're not my teacher. Yours truly, Lee Botts. P.S. When I asked you what the title of your next book was going to be, you said, who knows? Did you mean that that was the title of... Wait, let me try that again. Did you mean that was the title, or you don't know what the title will be? And do you really write books because you have read every book in the library and because writing beats mowing the lawn and shoveling snow? November 16th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, Mom found your letter and your list of questions, which I was dumb enough to leave lying around. We had a big argument. She says I have to answer your questions because authors are working people like everyone else. And if you took time to answer my questions, I should answer yours. She says I can't go through life expecting everyone to do everything for me. She used to say that same thing to Dad when he left his socks on the floor. Well, I gotta go now. It's bedtime. Maybe I'll get around to answering your 10 questions, and maybe I won't. There isn't any law that says I have to. Maybe I won't even read any more of your books. Disgusted reader, Lee Botts. P.S. If my dad was here, he would tell you to go climb a tree. It's a little bit bigger now. November 20th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, Mom is nagging me about your dumb old questions. She says if I really want to be an author, I should follow the tips in your letter. I should read, look, listen, and think and write. She says the best ways she knows for me to get started is to apply the seat of my pants to a chair and answer your questions and answer them fully. So here goes. Number 1, who are you? Like I've been telling you, I am Lee Botts. Lee Marcus Botts. I don't like Lee for a name because some people don't know how to say it or think it's a girl's name. Mom says with a last name like Botts, I need something fancy, but not too fancy. My dad's name is Bill and my mom's name is Bonnie. She says Bill and Bonnie Botts sounds like something out of a comic strip. I am just a plain boy. This school doesn't say I am gifted and talented, and I don't like soccer very much the way everyone at this school is supposed to. I'm not stupid either. Number 2, what do you look like? I already sent you my picture, but maybe you lost it. I'm sort of medium. I don't have red hair or anything like that. I am not real big like my dad. Mom says I take after her family, thank goodness. That's the way she always says it. In first and second grade, kids used to call me Lee the Flea, but I have grown. Now when the class lines up according to height, I am in the middle. I guess you could call me the middlest boy in the class. This is hard work, to be continued maybe. Lee Bots. Oh, Lee. November 22nd. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I wasn't going to answer any more of your questions, but Mom won't get the TV repaired because she says it was rotting my brain. This is Thanksgiving vacation, and I am so bored. I decided to answer a couple of your rotten questions with my rotten brain. Parentheses, joke. Number 3, what is your family like? Since Dad and Bandit went away, my family is just Mom and me. We all used to live in a mobile home outside of Bakersfield, which is in California's Great Central Valley. We studied about it in school. When Mom and Dad got divorced, they sold the mobile home and Dad moved into a trailer. Dad drives a big truck, a cab over job. That meant the cab is over the engine. Some people don't know that. The truck is why my parents got divorced. Dad used to drive for someone else, hauling stuff like cotton, sugar beets, and other produce around Central California and Nevada. But he couldn't get owning his own rig for cross-country hauling out of his head. He worked practically night and day and saved a down payment. Mom said we'd never get out of the mobile home when he had to make such a big payment on that rig, and she'd never know where he was when he hauled cross-country. His big rig sure is a beauty, with a bunk in the cab and everything. His rig, which truckers call a tractor, but everyone else calls a truck, has 10 wheels, 2 in the front and 8 in the back. So he can hitch up to anything. Flatbeds, refrigerated vans, a couple of gondolas. In school, they teach you that a gondola is some kind of boat in Italy, but in the US, it is a container for hauling loose stuff like carrots. My hand is all worn out from all this writing, but I try to treat Mom and Dad the same, so I'll get to Mom next time. Your pooped reader, Lee Box. November 23rd. Mr. Henshaw, why should I call you dear? You are the reason I'm stuck with all this work. It wouldn't be fair to leave Mom out, so here's question number 3 continued. Mom works part-time for Catering by Katie, which is run by a real nice lady. Mom knew when she was growing up in Taft, California. Katie says all women who grow up in Taft had to be good cooks because they went to so many potluck suppers. Mom and Katie and some other ladies make fancy food for weddings and parties. They also bake cheesecakes and apple strudel for restaurants. Mom is a good cook. I just wish she would do it more at home, like the mother in Moose on Toast. Almost every day, Katie gives Mom something good to put in my school lunch. Mom also takes a couple of courses at the community college. She wants to be an LVN, which means licensed vocational nurse. They help real nurses, except they don't stick needles in people. She's almost always home when I get home from school. Your ex-friend, Lee Box. November 24th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, here we go again. Number 4, where do you live? After the divorce, Mom and I moved from Bakersfield to Pacific Grove, which is in California's central coast, about 20 miles from the sugar refinery at Speckles, where Dad used to haul sugar beets before he went cross-country. Mom said all the time she was growing up in California's Great Central Valley, she longed for a few ocean breezes, and now we've got them. We've got a lot of fog, especially in the morning. There aren't any crops around here, just golf courses for rich people. We live in a little house, a really little house. That used to be somebody's summer cottage a long time ago before somebody built a 2-story duplex in front of it. Now it is what they call a garden cottage. It is sort of falling apart, but it is all we can afford. Mom says at least it keeps the rain off, and it can't be hauled away on a flatbed truck. I have a room of my own, but Mom sleeps on the couch in the living room. She fixed the place up real nice with things from the thrift shop down the street. Next door is a gas station that goes ping, 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 ping every time a car drives in. They turn off the pinger at 10 p.m., but most of the time I'm asleep by then. Mom doesn't want me to hang around the gas station. on our street, besides the thrift shop, there is a pet shop, a sewing machine shop, an electric shop, a couple of junk stores they call antique shops, plus a Taco King and a Softy Freeze. I am not supposed to hang around those places either. Mom is against hanging around any place. Sometimes when the gas station isn't pinging, I can hear the ocean and the sea lions barking. They sound like dogs, and I think a bandit. To be continued unless we get the TV fixed. Still disgusted, Lee Botts. November 26th. Dear Mr. Henshaw, if our TV was fixed, I would be looking at Highway Patrol, but it isn't, so here are some more questions from my rotten brain. Ha ha, in parentheses. Number 5. Do you have any pets? I do not have any pets. My teacher says always answer questions and complete sentences. When Mom and Dad got divorced and Mom got me, Dad took Bandit because Mom said she couldn't work and look after a dog. And Dad said he likes to take Bandit in his truck because it is easier to stay awake on long hauls if he has him to talk to. I really miss Bandit, but I guess he's happier riding around with Dad. Like the father says in Ways to Amuse a Dog, dogs get pretty bored just lying around the house all day. That is what Bandit would have to do with Mom and me gone so much. Bandit likes to ride. That's how we got him. He just jumped into Dad's cab at a truck stop in Nevada and sat there. He had a red bandana around his neck instead of a collar, so we called him Bandit. Sometimes I lie awake at night listening to the gas station pinging, and think about Dad and Bandit hauling tomatoes or cotton bales on Interstate 5, and I am glad Bandit is there to keep Dad awake. Have you ever seen Interstate 5? It is straight and boring with nothing much but cotton fields and a big feedlot there that you can smell a long way before you come to it. It is so boring that the cattle on the feedlot don't even bother to moo. They just stand there. They don't tell you that part in school when they talk about California's Great Central Valley. I'm getting a writer's cramp from all this writing. I'll get to number 6 next time. Mom says not to worry about the postage, so I can't use that as an excuse for not answering. Pooped writer, Lee Botts. All right, I think we'll continue with the next letter and question number 6 next video.